Today's show is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play in this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Welcome to Emotionally Unavailable, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of emotional availability and intimacy. I'm your host, Melissa Hepner, and I can't tell you how excited I am to have you join me on this journey of self-discovery and connection. Whether you're navigating the complexities of relationships or exploring your own emotional landscape, this podcast is here to inspire, empower, and entertain. So get cozy and let's explore the depths of human emotions together. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. I hope it's magical. I hope you are feeling good things from the astrology. After my birthday, things started improving, so that's great. Today's episode is with my new little bestie, Jen Taylor. We just bonded so much through this conversation. Jen Taylor is an LCSW. She is a New York-based spiritual psychotherapist with 23 plus years of experience. Jen specializes in women's empowerment, domestic violence, teens, and LGBTQIA plus individuals. Jen incorporates spirituality and astrology into her sessions to create a truly unique blend of guidance. Jen was born and raised in New York City and lived there from preschool through high school. Instead of attending her prom, Jen went to boot camp for the Navy and received accreditation as a U.S. naval photographer. She then received her bachelor's in arts from Haverford College in Pennsylvania. She's the editor for Girl on Fire magazine's Wind Down with Jen, where she uses her 20 plus years of experience as a New York-based psychotherapist to bring you cozy couch conversations you would have with your best friend over a glass of wine after work. When not writing for the magazine or seeing clients, Jen enjoys traveling, photography, spending time with kids, and a good cup of coffee. She is a multiple #1 international best-selling author in a collaboration series and currently working on releasing the rest of this series as her very first solo books over the next year. Okay, so she has letters. Let me go back. Letters to myself. So each one has kind of a different theme, but they are very well rated on Amazon, and I'm going to include a link to all of her books in the show notes. She actually has a book, another installment of this releasing on Tuesday. So, and the Kindle edition of her previous versions are on sale for $2.99 right now. So, okay, Volume 1, Letters to Myself, Self-Harm and Suicide, Letters to Myself series. Volume 2 is Sexual Assault, Rape, and Incest. Volume 3 is Addiction. Volume 4 is Abuse, Bullying, and Cults. Volume 5 is LGBTQIA+, Parental Estrangement, and Parental, I think that probably says alienation. So, yeah. I think she has some other books, it looks like. No, I can't tell, actually. But I will have her link to all these books in the show notes. Let's see, what else? I don't know. We had a great conversation. We were like instant buds. So, I think you're going to love this conversation. Probably a lot more normal than the last few episodes. I know that the last few we got really deep into the spirituality aspect. And, thanks for sticking with some of those episodes that are just really different for you than like maybe what you're used to hearing. I just really like to include those because I'm becoming a lot more open to hearing other people's shit, Anyway, okay, don't forget the ads will make me money eventually, so, let's harness any frustration and just try to get through them. I try to make sure to not place too many. Now listen, baby, let me just tell you this. We gonna have a little bit more maybe in the future if it August 1st comes and I find out these are actually making me some money, okay? But for now I'm just trying to stick with the pre-roll, post-roll, and then, 2 somewhere in the episode, just to make it not so like irritating. We just celebrated 10,000 downloads. My downloads are really increasing lately, and it's really cute to watch somebody binge my content, like where they just go pick random episodes and whatever. It's really cool. Shit's happening, and it makes me happy. So anyway, I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hearing me and being a part of these amazing conversations that change my life on the daily. And I know they're changing other people's lives. So I love this community. Yeah. All right. I think we're going to go ahead and make this intro done now at 5 minutes. Jen, I love you. Thank you for being you. You're fucking amazing, and you're showing other people how to show up as themselves too. And congrats on this new book release on Tuesday. I'm proud of you, and love being a part of your journey and here to support in any way I can. So here is me and Jen Taylor, LCSW. Emotionally unavailable. Real. Look at that. Things are already
situated. Hey,
I love that.
I love your glasses.
Thank you. I love yours.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I love your necklace.
Oh, thank you.
Is that a crystal? I can't see.
Yeah, my friend brought it from I guess Austria.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Thank you. I had earrings, but I lost one. So
yeah, I've been there, friend.
Yeah,
I do, unfortunately. I was looking at your profile again, and man, I'm so jealous that you do Reiki. I feel like I'd be a really good Reiki healer, but I've never done the shit to do it. But I feel like I have healing hands.
Absolutely, you could learn. I mean,
how did you get into it?
I was just gonna say, I don't know if you have time or you want to hear it, but
oh hell yeah.
So I was my sister-in-law. So basically, my ex-husband is from Italy. I met him when I was 20. And we're not together anymore, but we're great friends. We co-parent together. And I was in Italy with my sister-in-law who had a really severe lung infection. So I called one of my psychic healer friends, and I said, can we do a session for her? And she said, well, I'm going to teach you how to do this because you can do this. And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
So yeah, so honestly, that's how I started to learn, and you could totally do it. I feel like we all have that capacity, some people more than others, but I can't teach because I'm not a master. I know you have some clients who are, because I was looking at the other episodes. So if you want to learn, you need to learn from a master. I'm a second level, but I could totally tell you about it another time.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Well, and you know what I've been doing? I'm not gonna lie about this. Whenever I don't know why I'm really embarrassed to say this. Apparently this feels vulnerable. But okay, so I have found that my voice is the key for a lot of things for me. So I've been speaking my manifestations more, and when I remember to, I kind of use energy from my hands with it, and it seems to be very powerful.
Awesome. Well, you're a natural healer.
Something. Oh no, I'm trying, That's what's awesome is you're also an LCSW, right?
Yes, and you are too. I love that.
Yeah, and we're
so awesome.
Can I just take a minute? LCSWs that are oh no, I'm the interrupter. I've met so many LCSWs that are spiritual, and I'm this is not really that big of a surprise, just because kind of who we are.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, who we are. If you become an LCSW, you probably had some real shit in your childhood. I don't know anyone that decided to go down that path that didn't experience some shit. So
I had shit. You had shit because I listened to some of your stuff. We all have it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, and also we signed up for this. I really believe that our souls sign up for this lifetime, as messed up as it could be, but there's some reason that we're doing this, you know?
For sure. And that thought or philosophy, I guess, I had some resistance to that for a little bit. And I think it was just from religious shit.
Mhm.
But man, I will tell you, I really believe the foundation for all of my peace is kind of there. It lies in that, because I'm like, I did choose this.
Yeah.
And I feel fundamentally supported. Whereas like my religious training taught me
I like that.
that I was like unworthy and unvaluable no matter what. And just kind of that punishment reward aspect of faith. And now it's like I just feel fundamentally supported, and that nothing is ever a punishment. But I have been offered plenty of very harsh course corrections. I sure have. But even that, you know what? It is only in this moment, I think, that I'm really feeling the impact of that could never have been a punishment. And I could even look at those course corrections as rewards almost, because unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever the case may be, we don't get to learn through happy times. It's not when we're at our fucking happiest that,
You're absolutely right.
The epiphanies and whatever else. It was through my darkest time.
Right. The hard stuff. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so,
and you know what? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I feel like so I had one teacher who's from England, and my second Reiki teacher is from India. And I had I did my second level during COVID with him. And he told me something that was really interesting. He said, you know, I feel like your healing is really just being with people and talking to people. You don't even have to do anything. Back at you, like I'm saying, I feel that with you, because like I've never met you. I just started to listen, honestly, it's this morning to one of the podcasts, and I feel like that's part of your healing gift. So even if you never learn Reiki, you have that as a healer within yourself. You know, I definitely feel that with you. So that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I definitely get that energy from you too. And I've gotten a lot more comfortable in being attuned to my gifts and saying what they are.
Yeah.
But when I say a lot more comfortable, that's because I was a 0 before. And so it's a slow, but I think it is because like what I speak does have so much power. And so I think it's not necessarily a bad thing that I've been so afraid to say so much, because I was saying a lot of the wrong shit anyway, you know, like it wasn't good for my soul. So it was probably better that I left so much inside. But now I'm trying really hard to be comfortable with speaking it, because I know it's important, and I know what I have to say is important. So what do you see clients?
Yes, I was actually going to ask you to. Yes, I do. I have I work part-time for a company called LifeStance. Really love them. I work remote from home because my daughter does home instruction, so I have to be home with her part of the time. And I also have my own private clients. So.
And does the company that you do work for, do they care that you bring spirituality into your sessions?
No.
You know, and I'm sure nobody would care. I don't know why that was always a fear of mine. It was always a fear.
I totally get it. And I feel like, honestly, I'm careful with that, because if I tell you, like, my ideal client, the thing I have the most fun with is doing therapy with some intuitive stuff, and then astrology and Reiki all together. And I got to do it once. It was really cool. So I actually wanted all those things. But I am careful, because particularly for the clients, like some people just don't want to hear about it. Right. Some people love it. Like I have someone I just started with, and she's like, yeah, and my North Node is, and I'm like, all right, you got the right person here, because we can talk.
Your heart was singing. You said you know about your North Node. Say less. Say less. Yes. I love astrology so much. It's really what like opened the gateway to spirituality for me, because I always had that intuition. I always knew, like, I remember as a kid being like, I think I'm kind of psychic, because I experience shit other people don't experience. So I always had an attunement, but religious programming made me shove it off for a lot of years.
Yeah.
I was okay with certain aspects of it, not very many. But now whenever I get to fucking use astrology in a session, I mean, I will say I'm not very good at not using it. Like
It's so funny.
I talk about it probably ad nauseum, but it's everything to me. It means so much. And I'm like, but you have to understand. But I put out to the universe, like, send me people meant for me, you know?
Right. Yes.
So I really haven't come across anyone that doesn't want their birth chart information or, you know.
Yeah. I mean, for me, how could you not want it? Like, it fascinates me. I could like never get enough. Like, the first thing you do in the morning, besides go pee, is I will check my transits for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes my kids, depends how I feel. But
well, yeah, I have a couple, well, probably 3 apps that I look at. I just joined this other one, Chani, Chani.
Yes,
I found
yes.
her on TikTok. I fucking love her.
I
And
got
so
her
I'm doing the app.
Yeah, she's great. Actually,
Yeah.
I applied for a position there, but they weren't looking. I mean, I would not consider myself a professional astrologer. I've studied for about 15 years on my own. When my mom passed, I just started, like, I really wasn't functioning too well, so I just started to listen to, you know, videos and podcasts on astrology. So, yeah, but I love it.
It's funny how we get to that, like, in different ways, and then it's all like once you awaken to it, man. But also astrology, my north node is in Leo.
Oh, I
And
love
so it really helped me to understand. And in those moments where I'm like kind of afraid to take a step out somewhere, I'm like, bitch, this is your stage. You're meant to be seen. Get your ass up. But it helps me because I'm like, your highest self is there waiting for you to come. So go.
Absolutely.
You know?
And that's a beautiful north node. And, like, especially with everything going on in Aquarius right now, like, that's your south node. That's very interesting. My son is a Leo sun and north node in Leo, and I'm waiting for him to take off because he is. You guys are powerhouses, you Leo people.
Well, it's funny too because I can always pick up on Leo energy. Like, before all of this, I wouldn't, you know. And in fact, I hated Leos, but there is because my mother was a Leo and my younger brother is a Leo. They were both Leo sons. And I knew nothing about anything other than I was a Gemini. So I was like, what? The more I recognized the Leo in me and started to love it and embrace it, because at first I was like, when I was just starting to learn about my astrology, like outside of Gemini, I was like, oh my God, I'm a fucking Leo moon. Like, I was hating on it because
that's a beautiful moon.
I hadn't recognized all the goodness in that. I was just seeing the ego. I was so stuck on the ego, you know? And because I had experienced that ego through others and didn't like it. But now it is a beautiful placement. And thank you for saying that, because we are so fucking warm, damn it.
Yes, very loving. And yeah, it's all. I have my son and my ex are both Leos, and my my former dog. So they're all Leos with Pisces moons, which is a very beautiful and weird combination. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I have a son who's a Pisces sun and a Leo rising.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it's similar. It's like, it's such a, what would you say, dichotomy, or like, it's such an opposing energy. And it's just so interesting to me how it works out, you know, like.
Guess his moon sign, Libra moon.
Oh, yes. My daughter has that. Yes.
Well, damn it.
Can he make a decision? Because she can't.
Baby, he's 18 and
he is too. No way.
Oh God, are you serious? When's her birthday?
February 8th.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Well, no, it's 11:11 on a clock right now. It would require him to be present to make a decision, and
he's also a boy, so yeah, they take a little.
Oh my God, he's so ADHD and on the spectrum and all kinds of things. But Libra moons, I saw this person who was like, you know how on TikTok it's this like fun thing to talk shit about the moon signs and like what it means about your shitty ass mom. Well, this person said Libra moons, their mama never told them no, and I was like, damn it. He tells me I was too easy on him. You know what's crazy though? My oldest son and my youngest child, she's a girl. They have the same big three, but they're not like the exact same. Like,
cool.
so my oldest is a Scorpio sun, Gemini rising, Virgo moon. My youngest is a Gemini sun, Virgo rising, Scorpio moon.
That's cool.
They are so much alike, it is annoying. They annoy each other because they both have to tell each other what to do at all times.
Yes.
Oh, and the age gap is ridiculous. 22, almost 11. And they fight like they're 2 years apart.
That's so funny. My kids have 7.5 years. My son will be 26 and my daughter is 18. But I have a Virgo moon, so I know how that is.
You do?
Yes.
Okay, Jen, I'm going to ask you something about that, okay? Because I have a client who's dating a Virgo moon, and I have a son who's a Virgo moon.
Oh, yeah.
I've dated a Virgo moon. Did you struggle in life with your brand of love being critical? Did you criticize it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can't.
Self-criticism, criticism of others. And my son has a Virgo Venus, which is really hard because he is super self-critical and, you know, and it's also perfectionism. Like I've battled with perfectionism, and honestly, I'm 58 and I'm like, you know what? It's really okay.
You got there. Yeah.
Which I love. I love this getting older stuff for that regard.
Oh my God. Yes. Because you really can be just, you lay down the cross, you know, like you don't have to crucify yourself anymore. And that's, so I have a Virgo stellium and
see, that's your healer. You're definitely a healer, girl. No doubt.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I find it interesting that we both have like healers in our bios too, because I read your bio, you know, in your Instagram, and I've been calling myself a healing expert, and I think I am. So you know, but I'm trying to. I don't, you know, I might be a lot more successful in business if I could pick a fucking lane, but with my Aries rising, Leo moon, Gemini sun ass, it's not easy for me to determine what it is that lights me up. Because everything lights me up, and then some days nothing lights me up, and you know, like it's just the one thing I'm certain of is the podcast. Like I fucking love the podcast.
It's amazing. Just the little things. What I've heard, and I feel like that's so Gemini too. And like you have the fire and air, and that's your energy, and it's like very contagious. I have like the earth and water, which is more sensitivity and grounded. Like a lot of people say, well, you help ground me.
Well, you do. You give, you're very calming, but nurturing and mothering energy.
Yeah, and I love your energy. And we're actually recording. Like, what are we supposed to be talking? I guess this is what we're supposed to be talking.
This is how it goes, man. Yeah, this is what it's like with me.
I love it.
Because I still feel very called to do it like this, to just be who we are in this moment, like showing up exactly how we want to, you know?
And I thank you for that, because the last book of the book series, Letters to Myself, that I'm working on, I've decided to do it on non-judgment, and so of self and of others. And I think that, you know, as a therapist, I'm really careful to be non-judgmental, because I was so judged as a kid and growing up, and like it really hurt me deeply because I'm a sensitive person. So I really try not to judge others like as much as I can.
Did you find yourself to be very judgmental at points in your life?
Yeah, I mean, I probably was a lot more than I admitted to. You know?
Yeah, me too. I get what you're saying, because we had to act cool, right? You're like, I mean, I'm open-minded, I'm whatever, and meanwhile, I'm like, I would never fucking.
Yeah, but you know, I think so much of it is about like how we're raised, our attachment patterns, and because it hurt me so much, like that's the whole wounded healer in astrology, Chiron. This is kind of what my soul mission is here, you know, to really accept others as they are, like wherever they are. And I can really talk to anyone. The only people I have issue that I really don't think I can work with are like sex offenders.
Oh, same. Yeah.
I just can't. Like, I would not be impartial. So
no, I wouldn't either. First of all, I experienced sexual abuse in childhood, so I get to deal with the ramifications of that, and fuck anyone who does that to somebody. Absolutely. The older I get, the more I can sometimes in a moment have compassion,
Mhm.
because I do know that you had to experience some shit to be this fucked up. At the same time, I close my heart off to that,
Yeah.
because
No, I'm the same.
I just don't want to. And there are people who are willing to, and I will let them, because
Yes,
I
exactly.
just don't have that thing. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, because I have that little caveat too. But otherwise, yeah, I've really. What's your Chiron placement?
Saturn and Chiron and Pisces. So yeah, and it's my 10th. It's in my
Never.
midheaven. So here we are. This is what we're doing.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow. Mine is in Taurus.
Beautiful. That's where my North Node is. I'd be curious to see do you know the degree? Because I bet you we have a lot of. Okay, people, we're pulling out our birth charts.
Yep.
Whatever else we're supposed to talk
Oh,
about.
honey, yeah, these people. I want people to learn more about astrology. Damn it. Okay, my Chiron is at. Oh, yeah, that's right. I should have known this. It's at 16 degrees, which is around the time my dad died.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. What's yours?
14 something. So yeah, we're right there.
Yeah.
I love it.
Look at us, soul sisters and shit.
So yeah, North Node and Chiron connection. That's intense.
Do you do whole sign or Placidus?
That's a good question. I think I do Placidus.
See, the app, the pattern, it has my chart as a whole sign.
Right.
But whenever I look at Placidus, actually Taurus is part of my first house, and that's where Chiron is. So it started to make a lot of sense to me when I understood that placement, like how insecure I've been my whole life and the worthiness issues.
Yes.
So like, I think I have to teach people how to feel worthy, but it's been, I met this lady last week, I think, here on the show, and I said yes to something she offered, which was scary for me. I'm not great at like going out of my comfort zone, but I try to. If a guest offers something for free, I try to like take it so I can, immerse myself. But she does. I'm gonna summarize it like this. Like, what is that fucking word?
Attunement.
Where you're saying, she does like recordings, walking you, like hypnosis and da da da. But like, it's a big kind of culmination of the visualization, NLP. The word keeps coming and leaving.
It'll come.
You know where you hide words into a recording? Subliminals.
Oh yeah.
So she does all of that, and she's sending me the recording to listen to for 30 days to help me work on, because I said I think I'm blocking myself still with some worthiness stuff, because it finally occurred to me that whenever I say, and actually just having this conversation with her yesterday is making me feel more worthy. But anyway, whenever I say to someone like your worth and value, like you're born with it, it's all in whatever, I started to notice there was a little pull over here that was like, not really, like just letting me know I was still dealing with some worthiness shit. And so I was like, well, you're offering, so this is the only thing I know for sure that I can work on. And so I'm really excited for that, because it just takes different modalities. And like knowing yourself, which is how I use astrology, is just as a tool to understand myself better and others. Like my kids cannot stand in fact, I don't even talk astrology with them anymore, because they can't stand how much I was talking about it. And my 18-year-old was a real bitch about it. And I was like, fine. And so I don't talk to them about it, but it helps me understand them,
Oh, absolutely. I was just looking at my my kids' transits just today. Yeah. So I remember, obviously I don't talk about who the client is or whatever, but sometimes I'll mention, and I had a client, whatever, new client, and my son was like, but mom, like, don't talk about astrology like when you're just meeting someone, like they might think you're nuts.
I love that. Sometimes they do, baby. Sometimes they do.
Yeah.
And then I have to be like, actually, that's why whenever I get a new client and I'm doing like a consult, like, hey, just so you know, I'm like, this is me. I'm going to talk about astrology. I'm going to vape. I'm going to cuss because that's all my magic. It's not my LCSW that makes me really good at this. I have to have that, but that's not it. So if you want me to be able to help you, you got to accept me. If you can't, that doesn't hurt me and I will help you find somebody else. But if you're going to stay, there's not going to be any water in my ass down.
Right. No,
and it works. So they know what to expect. But that's what took me so long to even enter into this field, like to actually go be a therapist, because well, first of all, I had not reached the level of healing that I needed to be able to help others. I was play acting anytime I had done it in the past because I'm just doing the normal surface and how does that make you feel kind of shit, you know? I didn't want to do that. I wanted to like know what the hell I was doing. And whenever I was so lucky to have such a spiritual awakening during healing, but I awoken and then I was like, I'm ready. I'm gonna do it. And so I quit my job and
I love that.
I mean, I'm not going to say that, you know, I'm not struggling because God knows I'm still trying to figure it out. That's the reason I said, let's figure out what my blocks are. Cause trying to bring shit into my reality, this reality. And, I think I'm blocking myself or something. So let's do that. But I mean, also I was talking to a client last night. We're both just crying because she's telling me just like, cause she's made this really big move in her life. And I was like, God, man, like, I'm so fucking proud of you. Like you're doing so good. And you haven't even been in therapy a year. Like, I'm just so proud. And she's like thanking me and just like, you know, like you gave me that mom energy I've always needed. And I'm bawling because I'm like, oh my God, I'm helping people and I'm so happy for you. And like,
it's so
there's no dollar amount on that, you know?
I know. It's the best.
Oh
like,
my God.
I remember I had a client who, I guess it's about 8 years I've been seeing her, and she's like, you literally saved my life. Like, I was really in a really dark place and I'm not, like, I still struggle, but like, you say, and I was just like, wow, that is just like, I don't know, it's so moving, and it's like, that's what we're here to do, you know. And she's worked really hard and continues to work really hard, you know. But it's still like when you hear stuff like that, you're just like, whoa. It's kind of like in the presence of an angel. Like, I don't want to trigger your like, it's sort of like, wow, like you don't realize how powerful that is, you know.
No, honestly, and I think a former version of me would have had a hard time knowing how to respond. You know, like, I want to make sure I'm conveying to you how much that means to me, while also not being overly emotional or whatever. And man, it felt really good to like, I did catch myself like being uncomfortable with the crying because this is all very new to me. Like, a year out of 45 is not that many years to be this vulnerable and connecting on this level of authenticity with people. So it's still new. And I still catch myself being like, you shouldn't cry or whatever. And then I'm like, yes, you can cry. Like, it's fine. But not even just with clients, just in general.
Oh yeah. Well, it's so interesting because I feel like, you know, when I was coming up, I kind of felt, well, it's also because I'm a Capricorn, so there's a lot of like, okay, this is how it should be, and Virgo, you know, this, and I would try to do like what was expected of me, but then I kind of realized, wait, like, actually, just being who I am is good. Like, it's enough, and that was like a huge gift to myself, because I don't think, like you, I don't think I ever believed that until pretty recently, that like I don't actually have to do anything, just being is enough. And like that, I feel like that's kind of where the magic starts.
Yes,
right,
exactly. Yeah, that's where it started for me. That's why I think I could still feel the block a little bit, that there was still some part of me that needs to just be brought to this reality. You know, like, it's not that I don't believe it, because I do. It's just I'm still kind of getting the parts to catch up. And that's what the lady, Carrie Logan, that's what she specializes in. But I keep getting deeper and deeper understandings of this lesson, that truly, the messier you're willing to show up, the
Mhm.
better all this shit is. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, maybe it's that's what alchemy is like the more ingredients that you can throw into something and then make it a fucking mess,
Yeah.
that you get to see really magical results from that.
Well, I think what also how astrology's helped me is like, you know, our North Node, our soul mission. We're each here as a unique soul to bring our magic and our gifts into this lifetime, right? So me trying to be someone else is not going to work, you know? As much as it's kind of weird or shocking, I am actually good. Like I bring certain gifts, you bring certain gifts. We can't duplicate that. It's sort of like, you know, like your fingerprint or like a snowflake or your birth chart. There will never be one that is exactly the same. So that's what I'm learning to bring to the world is me, my
Yeah.
authenticity. And that's part of why, like, I was kind of trying to like grow my grays out for years. And then it was like, shit, I have this wedding, or, oh, you know, I have a party, I have a podcast, and I'm like, you know what? Screw all of that. I need to let my grays out, so I'm going to do it now.
I'm proud of you because I'm not there. Vanity is still a thing for me. I not like to the extent
You're
it
like
used to be.
in
Like
your
last
first
year,
year,
I was like curling my hair all the time and shit.
oh,
But
you got time, girl.
baby, let me tell you something. Since I've been on a budget and doing my hair at home, I'm going to give you a little idea of what I've been going through with these grays. Okay. I went every 6 weeks for a bajillion years to get my hair done by my friend Summer. Hi, Summer. I miss you. And then when I couldn't like pay for it anymore, I was like, all right, I love you, but can you tell me what to do at home? Like what products? Because I'm going to have to do that. And I would rather not ruin my hair. So I was doing like a shadow root for a little bit. And then my blondes were getting yuck. So I learned how to like freshen those up. Yeah. Well, I kind of suck at the root work. I mean, I really do, because I'm a little too impatient for that. And I wasn't even being patient enough to wait for my husband to help me. So like, I just didn't do a great job. And I looked one day and I was like, holy shit. Like this entire section right here, just a little stripe, a big stripe, is gray.
Okay.
And I was like, what the hell? Like, how did I not notice this? I also learned I was washing out the toner incorrectly. So that was part of the problem. And the shadow root. Lord Jesus, I just, you know, I'm learning how to do things for myself. But so I was like, all right, honey, hope you're ready for this. So we started highlighting it, like the whole thing together. And now it needs to be done again. So far, it's still worth it. But
I think it looks pretty.
Like, I have a lot more gray than I like even knew. She'd done such a good job of covering it all these years. I didn't know. And then you give me a bad, like, you know, information about how to dye your hair. And I was like, wait, but it's not staying. And look at all this gray. So now I'm doing highlights because it's easier to cover.
Yeah, more. Yeah.
But I just, I can't let go of the vanity yet. I will eventually. I was just thinking about this morning. That's so funny,
right?
Because I was like, do people think you're an imposter if you still really care about shit like that? And then I was like, do we care what people think? No.
There you go. That's a good question.
That's the only thing I could answer that with was like, I'm sure that somebody will. And
I don't. I don't care. That's what's so great. Like, I don't care, you know?
Well, because you know that the only people who care, if you care about what somebody else is doing with their fucking hair, it's because you don't like something in your heart. Okay, like it's just period. That's what we know, and I think that's been a really important part of my journey is just deepening that understanding. Just staying chill and understanding people are people. And did you have to do like a lot of work on your expectations of others?
Yeah. A lot, because actually during COVID, it was so interesting. Like, I definitely have past lives in India. And somehow I met like 4 people, at least, maybe more, during COVID from India. So like one of them was my Reiki teacher. One was my astrology teacher, and then he became a friend. I was learning Vedic astrology, which is like, you want to blow your mind? Okay, there you go. Because that is stuff. And then what was my whole point? Oh, expectations. So he actually really helped me to think about that a lot. Like, what are your expectations? Because I had this sort of setup from when I was a kid where, I'd have these expectations. And then, of course, they were not met. So then,
Never. Mm-hmm.
But, so my mom she was married many times, but she really mostly a single parent. She had 4 kids. She worked full time. My dad was a functioning alcoholic. He interesting how this is all coming up now. He had a lot of trauma. He was in Korea. His mother died when he was little. So all kinds of trauma stuff. And yeah, I mean, I definitely felt loved, but they were kind of messed up. Like, they definitely were not consistent. So my attachment pattern is anxious.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would have these expectations, but then even my parents, right, which is what we go look for, were not able to be consistent, right? I never knew when my mom was going to blow up. What did I do? I didn't know when my dad was present or not. And so, yes, I've had to work a lot on expectations and kind of just talking to myself like, okay, let's go in really trying not to expect ABC.
Yeah.
And it's just so much better.
It is. It's a freedom for sure, but it is a constant work.
It is.
For me. Like, I recognized that all those expectations are what had broken my heart a million times. That betrayal wound, because when you have inconsistent parents, they betray the shit out of you.
Absolutely.
Nonstop. And even like, I teach this to like my daughter who's almost 11 and other kids too, where it's like, you just have to understand that you thought it was going to be this way. You had this whole visual, this picture. Yeah. And then when somebody didn't do that, it feels like betrayal. But baby, they're not trying to betray you. That's just what it is. But man, I carried that betrayal wound, and it was my biggest one. That and neglect. Yeah. And yes, I received plenty of actual physical neglect, but that emotional neglect piece, that the one that makes you just feel like you never have anyone to help you with shit and you're just alone in your suffering. Yeah. Those are the two that are still very easily triggered for me. Mm-hmm. And it actually was a horoscope that I had one that said something to the effect of figure out, it said, it's time to address the dissatisfaction in your life. And I was like, oh, fuck you. Because I knew I was the center of that dissatisfaction, and I was like, okay, fine. And so I did. And then 2 weeks later, I got one that literally said, check in on how you deal with people not meeting your expectations. Ooh, okay. And I was like, oh my God, Jen, it hit me. So I knew exactly. That just being asked the question was just like, boom, right in my chest, because I was like, ooh, this is big. I can feel it. And just kind of going in, and I was in the height of like a disagreement with my husband about something too. And it was just like, oh, okay. Expectations, like we do create these roles in our brain of like, my husband's going to be this, they're going to be able to do this, and this, and this. Right. And my Leo moon ass never considered how I'm supposed to show up in a relationship. Let's be real. So like, I was just constantly feeling betrayed by my own expectations. And I realized that child in me that literally, this is the way I used to do it. Because I would say promise to my grandma and she would say promise. And that, like, we knew couldn't fuck around. If someone said promise, like, they're going to show up. And she didn't break her promises. And that meant a lot to me. And so that's the way I've always, with my kids, they know, like, if I say maybe or probably, it's not me blowing them off. Like, it probably will happen. But they also know I'm not going to say yes to something unless I'm 100% sure I can execute that. Because that's still very alive in me, that pain of parents not showing up. And so, I just kind of had to realize, like, oh, I am asking these people to promise, like everything they say is now this contract. We're signing it in blood. Like, you said you'd do that. They didn't always say they'd do it, but in my head they did. And so that's where I really started to unravel most of my issues was right there. Like, you're expecting way too much from people. And I'm still learning that. Like, even in conversations that are hard for me, like, this is a kind of a new level of healing for me. I've started to allow myself, I was avoiding my triggers for a while on purpose, and I'm okay with that because I found peace and I needed to stay in my bubble. So I just kind of isolated, and I was really just happy there, content. And then I've just started to like slowly step outside of that. So I've been having conversations with people that are very hard for me because I still can find myself to be a very reactive person. Now, it's not the way it used to be. I'm not screaming at anyone or whatever, but I'm triggered pretty easily still. But the beautiful thing is it's immediately like, okay, this is what you're working on. Okay, great. Now notice your reaction to this. Why are you upset about that? Wow. Blah, 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 you know? And so I'm working through it, and that's been really beautiful. Like it's very freedom, you know, like just, okay, awesome. I can have conversations now. This was my biggest source of shame. I didn't used to be able to.
Yes.
And so just deepening that understanding that like, the expectation in those conversations is for me to create my own safety and for me to have the container to hold this shit. I was asking these people before to be the container. I didn't understand that that's what I was asking.
Yeah,
so
same.
Such a fun exploration, don't you think?
Isn't it fun?
I think so. I love learning new shit about it because, well, I mean, I wouldn't mind. Truth be told, Jen, I wouldn't mind a little bit of just static where like good things just come in, you know, and I get to enjoy those for a while without just the non-stop fucking lessons. But it will happen at some point, I'm sure.
Well, I just I think now experiencing, it's just started. I have Jupiter transiting my ascendant, which is a really beautiful transit. And I'm ready, girl. I'm like, yes, this is exactly what you just said. Here and I'm open to it, and I've been through a lot of crap in my life. I've also been through a lot of amazing experiences, but they all make us who we are, right? So like I wouldn't be able to be here now and talking to you if I hadn't had some of those really shitty experiences.
Yeah. No, I get that. And I mean, honestly, I am so grateful because even in the stressful times, none of it is the way it used to be, you know, like at least I am like so aware and I'm learning and ultimately I would take the higher level of consciousness over anything. So I'm glad. And, you know, I signed up for this. You would die if you saw my chart. It is, I really wanted to make things hard for me, I guess. Although I feel like I'm like I don't have very many incarnations left. It's weird, but I this is new to start feeling that. But in the last like 4 months, I've been like, ooh, like a pressure to, I'm gonna say it this way, but I don't mean it like exactly like this, but like to get it right, to pass, to do like to hit the mark this time.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you say that because I just had like just maybe a minute ago, I was like, yeah, I mean, it's your higher self kind of nudging you because there's limited time in this lifetime and you have certain things to do. Same here. So it's like, to be honest, like I was nervous to be on this podcast. And like you're
really
super cool. You make it extremely easy. I'm not nervous anymore. But like I always get a little nervous before I meet a new client, you know, and I think I'm an extroverted introvert. Like I'm much more an loner in a lot of ways. I have good friends. I love being with people, but I have to have my center alone time, you know? But yeah, I'm just sort of like making myself do this. I'm like, okay, I need to do this. I've been told by different people, I need to get out there and I'm just doing it. It doesn't mean it's my comfort place. Although I have to say you're part of your medicine is you make it easy because you say, just show up. And that is such a gift because I was like, oh, just show up. Okay. I can do that.
Well, thank you, because not everybody feels that way. I actually had somebody cancel the other day because I don't do a pre-call.
Yeah. I think it's
and I was like, that's fine. I'm not for you then, honey. I'm not doing I think she thought I was going to be like, we can do a pre-call. I don't have time for that shit.
Yeah, that's a lot of time. It's true.
Yeah, I mean, no hate to anyone who does it, but I think they do it for their own comfort too. I don't need it for my comfort and I don't have time, honestly. Yeah. I will say this. I really didn't. I've always felt like I was a good conversationalist. And, I worked full-time hospice for years and going in people's homes and, doing that whole thing and years of people pleasing. So like, I'm pretty good at just like reading the energy and whatever. And I mean, I'm not going to say I haven't had a couple of awkward experiences. I have, but I literally was like, I hung up and I was like, they must have been on the spectrum. Like, that's the only thing that makes that make sense, because I don't get why it went that way, but literally 2 out of all, like, and I don't know. I've had a couple of weird little instances lately that I've been like, I think though that they happened at the exact time they did for me it was like a little midpoint check-in where the universe said, okay, you gonna let it bother you? Well, how much are you gonna do with that information? You know what I mean? Like, are you ready to stand in your authority and mean what you say when you say you don't give a shit? And yeah, it shook me a little bit. Like, I'm a human. I'm not going to act like things don't faze me. They do. But it didn't, like, it more caused like a dysregulation than anything. This lady asked me not to air our episode because she didn't feel featured as a guest, because this is the way I do things.
This is a conversation.
Yeah. And then when I tried to like say we can record a little more, because I could tell she was unhappy when we hung up, and I was actually relieved that she reached out and we could have a conversation about it, because I was like, what should I do with this? Because I can tell she's really unhappy, but like, is that my responsibility? So I was trying to go on, but the next day she messaged me and I was like, okay, well, let's record a little more. And then she's like, no, I don't really like how much you cuss and stuff. Like, not a judgment, but it's not like what I want to take to my audience. And I don't care, like, at all. But I was like a little dysregulated over it. And I was having trouble identifying what the feeling felt like, because I'm like, yes, rejection, but I don't actually care about the rejection. So what is this? And then I was like, maybe I just have to still work on like how to, stretch and expand so that I can create that safety. And then nobody else did anything or say anything, but that one girl did cancel. Like, 2 days later, that girl canceled because I don't do the pre-call. But I mean, I don't know. I just like, I'm the only thing I did in response is the next few recordings. I was like, I'm still going to cuss. I'm still going to vape. I'm still going to whatever. But I am going to tell you that at the end, like, I'll tell you this now too. At the end, it really doesn't matter where we're at if like I have to go, because I'm always running late to the next recording. And so that might have been part of it too, where I was like, okay, well, is there anything else? All right, la la la. And it was kind of out of nowhere, but I mean, the recording says an hour, like it's not, so I learned some things that probably are useful. And then the rest, I was just like, Melissa, people, you said you're not for everyone, and you're not. So don't try to be. And how
I think that's the thing. No. We don't want to be for everyone, because that's not real,
Right.
And also, but I have to say, like, I did think about it for a minute. I was like, oh, that's interesting that she doesn't do a pre-recording call. And I was like, okay, well, as long as that works, because I'm just like, I hope she doesn't get any kind of batshit crazy serial killers on her show. But you don't. Like, so it's your energy. It's like, I feel like you have a protection around it, so you're not getting those people.
No, I really do too, because I felt something that day that I was like, send me the people meant for me. Like I was like invoking that, know?
Yes.
And so that's why I believe that experience happened for me too, so that I can work on, I do have to stretch in this area when I do receive a rejection. I got to get better at it, because it just made me feel literally shaky on the inside for about 3 days. But I was like, I'm not going to feed it with thoughts. I'm just going to work on centering and doing the things, but yeah, I mean, in that instance, I felt like she probably should have just listened to an episode of the show if she had such strong opinions about her audience, like, I don't care. Like, I loved that you were honest, that you're like, I was listening this morning just so I'd have like, I do that too. When I'm about to be on someone's show, I'll listen, right before, maybe not like even a full episode, but as much as I can, while I'm getting ready that morning or something. But I don't care. Like, no one hurts my feelings if they've never listened, or they don't even listen to the episode of their, but if if you are particular, you probably should.
Exactly.
I don't go listen to everybody before I'm on theirs. I read what they're asking for in a guest. And if I feel like I match that and I say, hey, if it aligns, I'd love to be on your show.
Absolutely.
But again, I think astrology helps in all of these areas. Seriously, because I'm just like, I mean, literally the way I view people, I am really bad about like trying to pick up the energy, like guessing their sign sometimes. Like I'll be like, even just like their Venus, like just the obscure shit that I'm like, not just their big three, like, what's got going on? Because I asked someone in an email after the recording. She didn't answer it. She answered some other stuff, and she didn't answer that. But I was like, I need to know if you're a Scorpio or Pisces. I need to.
Where's your Venus?
Dude, my Venus is Gemini. Does that surprise you? Exactly.
Mine is Capricorn. It's in the 8th house, though, which is a little interesting.
And have you seen 8th house themes in your relationships?
Yeah. And I mean, it's other people's money. It's, death and rebirth. It's, a little interesting sexuality stuff. I just remember I was talking to a girlfriend of mine, and she was like, oh, I wish I had Venus in the 8th house.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you're naughty?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I did not just say that on the air, but that's okay.
I can cut it if you want me to.
It's all right. I really don't have issue with it.
So every time I meet a Scorpio Venus, I'm like, that's all I need to know about you.
Yeah. Well, that's like the 8th house Scorpio is the same. It's the same.
Yeah.
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 But it does make life interesting. Like, I mean, as I love and I feel deeply, so why shouldn't I Venus deeply too?
Right. Yeah. My oldest son, who's the Virgo moon, is also, he's a Scorpio Venus, and bless his heart, he's 22 and he's just figuring it all out. But I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of glad that I'm more of like a love whoever's in front of you for the minute kind of person.
Well, that makes this perfect.
Yeah.
In terms of like, talking in relation.
Yeah, it makes it easier because it doesn't take, like, yes, I prefer mental stimulation. Like, that's the biggest arousal piece for me. Sure. But it doesn't take much to feel that connection. Like, I'm so open to the connection,
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like with you guys, there's a lot more fear around the connections. Like, I don't know what that is, but, I just feel like I'm more of a, oops, shit, I should have thought that through. And you guys think a lot through before you do things, but I'm more of a fuck, I did it again.
Oh, you're hysterical. Well, I think
always talk about that a lot.
You definitely found the right, like, for now, this is so right for you, I feel like. I mean, who am I to say that? I just feel like you're so natural at it, So that's
Thank you. It feels good because I was a person who felt really silenced because I was the you're too much, you're not enough,
Oh, yeah,
I was always the you're too sensitive.
And don't you hate that you're too sensitive? Oh, I always hated that. And then I believed it. And now I'm like, thank God I'm too sensitive. Thank God I'm too sensitive because that's
and have you noticed like I say this to people about their kids, like the things that you were so afraid of in them when they were little, like, oh God, that's going to get them hurt or da, da, da. That's their fucking superpower, man. And our sensitivity was our superpower. And like I'm like, of course I was begging to be seen. My fucking North Node's in Leo. Like that was my higher self calling me to be seen. And it was a huge trigger for people to say, you're too sensitive. And it's why I like had so much trouble being vulnerable because, well, sure, I was placing a lot of blame on other people for my shit because I didn't understand what I was experiencing. But I mean, just little like that hurt my feelings, and it'd be you're too sensitive. I'm like, I wasn't trying to make you feel like a piece of shit. I was just kind of asking you not to be a bitch sometimes. Like that's it. Like
that's not too much to ask. Also,
right. But I've had tricky experiences, but I'm really just kind of like, okay, I'm allowed to talk now. And also the most lit up I can possibly feel is doing this. Like in conversation, just getting to talk. You don't have expectations of me. I don't have expectations of you. That's where therapy is a little different.
Yeah.
I always feel the expectation. And
Mhm.
it's a little scary to me still, because even though I'm like there and I'm connecting and I'm giving them every ounce of my magic, it's always a little bit on my shoulder,
Mhm.
like just to, like, because this is very real life shit. I'm
Yeah.
helping people with real life shit.
Yeah.
And it's a little, I think it just triggers that, am I enough? Like, and so it doesn't light me up the same way, but I do love it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm sure you're an amazing therapist.
Thank you. I'm sure you are.
Thank you.
Fucking raking and shit. I want to learn, man. I'm so jealous. I'm serious.
Don't be
I don't know
jealous.
why I'm not doing it. Like, why am I not even just watching a YouTube? Come on.
What you told me about how you use the energy when you're doing the voice stuff,
Uh-huh.
that's just like you're just a natural. So happy to talk about it another time, just us, without
Yeah.
or with the audience, whatever. But I know we have 7 minutes, so being very Capricorn and Virgo, I'm giving you a few minutes if you need to take a bathroom break. You know how therapists are like,
yeah.
wait, that's inner drink.
Oh my God. Jen, twice now I've had this experience of like, I can't believe I'm about to say this, where I'm in a session and I'm like, I'm about to shit my pants. Like,
Oh, yeah. Been there.
That is the worst fucking feeling. Thank God we work remotely, right? Because I'm sweating, I'm doing the and then I'll be like, one time I got lucky because my dog was needing something and I was like, let me do this really quick. I muted everything, and when I did that, and then I ran to the bathroom really quick. I was like, because I was dying. I had drank coffee on an empty stomach and it was
no, I told
moving.
I said, I'm really sorry I'm having a stomach thing, and I just like went off camera, off mic. And it was just like, we're human. Like, I know we're like super goddesses, but we're also human. And we have to poo and pee. And it's like, sometimes it happens, right?
Yes. I was like, oh my God, people do not talk about this enough. Because it's funny. If I had to pee and I was about to pee my pants, I would have zero problem being like, I got to go pee real quick. Yeah. But knowing that I had to poop, I was like, I can't tell them I got to poop.
Oh my goodness. This is so fun.
A lot of them I could, but this guy he's a 22-year-old male. And I didn't feel like being like, honey, I got to poop.
You don't really want to go into that. Yeah, I get it. But it's great to talk about these things. And I just had to say, one of my funniest client sessions, my client was afraid he was running late. So he literally called me from an Amtrak bathroom. And I was like, okay, this wins as the most original therapy location. Isn't that great?
Sis, I had someone call me from a bar once. And I was like,
oh,
I
wow.
don't know how much work we're going to get done, but okay. Okay.
Yeah.
If that's where you need to take today's session, I guess.
That's part of accepting them where they are, right?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, thank you so much for having me today. It was really fun.
Thank you for coming on. I'm glad you liked it. I'm loving that we are following each other on social media.
Yes, and we are astrology buddies.
Hell yeah. Let's stay connected, because I would love, where do you live?
New York City.
Oh my God. I'm running a special in New York right now, I guess. I'm meeting so many people from there.
Yeah. Come visit.
I want to. I really do.
Anytime. I'll have more time in the summer. But just, hit me up and we'll figure it out.
Hell yeah. I'm excited, new friend Jen.
Thank you, darling.
All right. Well, I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. Seriously, thank you so much for coming on. I had an amazing time with you.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye, sweetie.
Hey, make sure you've given the show a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening to if you haven't already. And check out my website, empoweredwithmelissahepner.org, or my link tree on Instagram at melissa.hepner to check out my latest offers or workshops. Emotionally unavailable. All right, that's it from me. So make sure that you check out the show notes for links. And until next time, let's all just keep swimming.
Emotionally unavailable. INDEPE and cut.